Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Teach. You know what I'm saying? Back with another video. Man, got some good information for y'all today, man. This is a must-see, man. This is probably gonna be a two-part series, and I need y'all to stay with me, especially for the second part, man. The second part is gonna take us home. You know what I'm saying? So, just give all thanks and praise to the Most High, man, for this day, man. This beautiful Sunday morning. Couldn't really sleep last night. Out there with the fam. Yesterday we had a homecoming, so we just oh man, the community was out there. Everybody looking good, man. At the food, you know what I'm saying? Just a real good time. But yeah, man. Listen, that's why I say on the last video, y'all, it's imperative, man, that we do our own research. You know what I'm saying? We dig, and we look with the right perspectives, man. Because I'm telling you, man, the things to be uncovered, it's crazy, man. Because these folks really been lying. They've been misinterpreting things and mistranslating stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you really just want to kind of dig on your own and do some of your own research. So without further ado, man, I'm gonna start this video off with a comment I had left from the brother 432 drop video. And it was a video he did about those of the Kachi Quails. He was reading them in the Tobepriestly. If y'all ain't seen that series, go check it out. You know what I'm saying? But he was reading them, and the Mayans was talking about this red stick that they had. You know what I'm saying? How they stuck it in the ground, and all that. And so I'm gonna read the actual annals of the Kachi Quails for you. This is the 432 the drop radio, his library, man. He got a good library for y'all, man, with these documents, man. So it's a blessing, man, what these brothers be doing. But check this out. It says, so we're gonna start up here at the top. It says, computer acting slow, y'all. I gotta bear with me. Ever since I've been trying to bring out this information, now they've been, the computer been acting slow. You know what they got going on. But nah, for real, check this out. It says, then we arrived at the seacoast. There were gathered together the warriors of all the 7 villages at the sea. A great number perished, devoured by sorrow. There is no means of passing, nor is it told of any one who has passed the sea. All the warriors of the 7 villages, said all the warriors of the 7 villages, who will find means to pass the sea? In thee alone, my brother, in thee alone have we hope. Talking to this priest that's leading them, you know what I'm saying? Because these stories, man, that these Mayans wrote, they got a lot of biblical narratives, you know what I'm saying? They correlate to a lot of biblical, especially this is like an Exodus story, you know what I'm saying? So check this out. They say, we said to them, you may go on, you may be first. Who will find the means of crossing while we are here? All of us spoke thus and said, then all of them said, have pity on us, our brothers, since we are all stretched out on the shore of the ocean without seeing our hills and plains. Without seeing our hills and plains. Remember, because these people got a land contract to a certain land area. So they trying to get back to their land area. You know what I'm saying? Their land inheritance. Their plains and hills and mountains. You know what I'm saying? So it says, as soon as we were asleep, we were conquered. We the 2 oldest sons, we the chiefs and guides of the warriors of the 7 villages, O my brother. Would that we had passed and could see the burdens given to us by our mothers and fathers, O my brother. So they spoke. At that time, the Quiche nation had increased. Our ancestors, Gagavitz and Zaktua, we said to them, we suffer also, our brother. We do not live stretched out on the shore of the ocean, where we cannot see our mountains where they are. Where we cannot see our mountains where they are. As you say, O you warriors, you people of the 7 villages, we shall pass over at once. Thus we spoke, and soon all of them rejoiced. Now check this out. This is where it get real. It says, now there was a red tree, our staff, which we had taken in passing the gate of Tulan, and therefore we are called the Kachi Quail people. So they called the Kachi Quail people for this red staff, this red tree they carry. Our son, said Gagavitz and Zaptua, the root of this, our staff, was pushed into the sand of the sea, and soon the sea was separated from the sand, and for this the red tree served, which we brought from Toulon. Soon the sand was a line, and we passed out, and it became wide above the sea and below the sea. Then all rejoiced, when they saw the sand in the sea, and many consoled together. There indeed is our hope. We must gather together on these first lands, they said. Here only can we arrange ourselves since leaving Toulon. Here only, you know what I'm saying, in their hills and plains and mountains can they establish themselves, because that is their inheritance, that's their land. So here only can, you know what I'm saying, they be established truly as a nation, or the nation that they are meant to be. You feel what I'm saying? So when I heard him read that, you know what I'm saying, the first thing that clicked in my mind was Baton Rouge. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and that's what I commented. You know what I'm saying? Let me take it to the comments. You know, yeah, hold on. Yeah, so here's the comments I had left on the video. And it says, doesn't the name of Baton Rouge of Louisiana mean red stick? Because when the French arrived to that spot, they found a red stick stuck in the ground by the natives as a land marker. He was like, LOL, yes sir, bro, you got the drop for real. Let me know if you have drops on that. I was like, bro, I'm going to do some digging, and if I find anything, I'm going to hit your email. You know what I'm saying? Like King, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I went on the hunt. Red stick, this red stab, this red tree, which is the red cedar, the Juniperus virginiana, something like that. This cedar tree, oh my God. Man, all praise to the Most High. There's something about this tree, because with the knowledge of this tree, I was able to uncover a lot of stuff. I was able to, you know, come across some very interesting perspectives. You know what I'm saying? And also, the brother Arthur Scott Jr., what he hadn't commented down here kind of helped me out too. He was like, the Choctaw migration story says the same thing about the brothers, one having the magic stick. So let's go over here real quick. Alright, so Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shouts out to the boot. You know, so all my brothers and my partners down there. You know, they say Baton Rouge, French for red stick. It's the capital of the U.S. state. So hold on, let me bring you down to something else. Okay, so we just scrolled down a little bit to the colonial period. And this is what it says. It says see further information, Louisiana. French explorers Pierre de Birdville led an exploration party up the Mississippi River in 1699. The explorers saw a red pole marking the boundary between Houma and Bayonne. Now, Houma, I'm going to tell you, Houma is where you like Oklahoma. Houma literally means red. It means like red people. Oklahoma literally means red people. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. You know, it's like you got an Exodus story. And the sea. You know, we got a red pole. Then you got these red people, almost like Edomites, you know, I'm after crossing the sea. But, you know, that's a whole nother perspective. You know, we're just going to keep it rocking and formulate and, you know, theorize, like the book 432 drop say. We just, you know what I'm saying, we just digging, man, just seeing what we can uncover. So we say the French name, Le Bâton Rouge, the red stick, is the translation of a native term rendered as Istromna, possibly a corruption of the Choctaw. Now keep that in mind. Now keep these tribes in mind. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you're gonna want to maybe even write down or keep in mind, because we're gonna be touching on them throughout this video. Possibly a corruption of the Choctaw Iti Humma, red pole. You know what I'm saying? So this is a quote from Explorer when he published the first link account of the expedition in 1723. It says, according to Pentecost, or whatever, from there, we went 5 leagues higher and found very high banks called escorts in that region, and in Savage called Istromna. which means red stick, Baton Rouge. At this place, there is a post painted red that the savages have sunk there to mark the land line between two nations, namely the Bayugualos, which they were leaving the land and the land of another nation. 30 leagues upstream from Baton Rouge, named the Homa, red people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got this red stick right here that's stuck there when, you know, in Baton Rouge when they came. You know what I'm saying? Now keep that in mind, that's very important. They say it's stuck there for hunting grounds or landmarkers. You know, that's the two things they give us. But, you know, just to give you some information, you can check out these two right here, the red sticks, or also called the Upper Creek of the Muskogean Confederation. These people were called red sticks because of the red sticks they carry for medicinal purposes, you know, spiritual purposes, war, you know what I'm saying, the war clubs, and just for whatever, man. This red cedar tree, man, is a very useful and sacred tree unto the natives people. So y'all can dig on that right there. I'm not really gonna click on those links, but if the creek, you know, when I was looking, I was studying the creek, they kind of didn't take me nowhere. They did, but what I'm gonna be focusing mainly is more of the Choctaw in this particular video. So we're gonna go back and remember what the Cachiquel was saying. These people came from Toulon. You know, they had their red tree in their staffs at Toulon. They left Toulon and came to to their hills and their valleys, which is the Guatemalan, Mayan, you know, Yucatan region of Mesoamerica. Now, so I was looking, you know, I did some digging. I wanted to see what Toulon was, or if I could find any location for it or anything. So, you know, here's the wiki page of Toulon. It says Toulon or Toulon is the name used for the capital cities of the two empires of the pre-Columbian Mesoamerican. The first for Teotihuacan and later for the Toltec capital Tula, both in Mexico. The name has also been applied to the post-classic Mexican settlement Cholula. The name Tolan means among the reeds in the Nahuatl language. Now, that right there was like a double whammy, because I'm like, hold on. I remember Atzlan, which is the ancestral homeland of Aztecs, also being referred to as the place of reeds. And, you know, and then we all know that the Aztec are a Nahuatl people. You see what I'm saying? So the language of this word right here even has the Aztecian origin. So I'm thinking, like, you know, is Toulon and Atzlan the same thing? So, you know, I was doing a little bit more digging. Came across this document right here. It says Toulon and the other. So I'm gonna scroll through this, give y'all some quick drop, because this right here is a long document and it go in. You know what I'm saying? So I'm scroll down a little bit and try to see if I can find what I want. Alright, check it out. So remember, the document was called Toulon, the Toulon across the sea, right? Because these people said they came from across the sea. You know, alright, so check this out. It says, all the major colonial Quichean sources, the Popol Vuh, Memorial de Solola, the Tutula de Totonicapan, and several others are quite consistent in relating the Quichean nations, or more precisely the mythological founder. Let's see if I can scroll up there. Mythological founding fathers originated somewhere across the sea. We should take relevant passages. The Popol Vuh states repeatedly that progenitors of Balaam, Quits, Balaam, Ahab, Mahuat, Kuta, Ikwa, Balaam came from Cha'akwa Palo, across the sea where the sun emerges. Now, keep that in mind because you even got some biblical accounts. I'm not really gonna touch on it here because I really haven't too much made those correlations yet. But I know there's some biblical accounts like what Moses was telling them, across the Jordan where the setting of the sun or somewhere coming from the rising of the sun. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all probably not heard about that, but so we're gonna keep it moving because I'm gonna tell you the translations vary. In some places they say where the sun they came from where the sun rises. In certain places they say they came from where the sun sets. So you know what I'm saying? You really gotta kind of do a little deciphering now or whatnot. So it says where the sun emerges, that is from the east. Let's go some little cliche and it said this. Thus was the disappearance and end of Balaam, Keats, Balaam, Makab, Makua. They were the first people who came from across the sea, where the sun emerges. Anciently, they came here. They died in their old age. Those who were called bloodletters and sacrificers. They were sacrificed, So, saying earlier in the text, it describes how the first mothers and fathers and thus humankind were created in Pakzil, Kayala, and how these people multiplied there where the sun emerges. Before they decided to leave the place and move to a mountain named Tulan Suwa or Zuva. You know what I'm saying? 7 caves or 7 canyons to obtain their gods. While the Popol Vuh first clearly distinguishes the east as one location in Tulan, Suyu, Wakwa, Uku, Siwan, as another passage, a later passage refers to both places as a point of departure. So, equally the Titula di Totan Nikopon merges Pakzil and Tulan as a place of origin. The Parisio Taranal, Siwan, Tulan. The text describes that the leaders were of the Wakwab. Look at that, Wakwab, Amak. 7 nations. Sound like Jacob. Wakwab. The wild people with great capacities who arrived Ch'akwa Palo across the lake, across the sea from Talan Siwan. It says, and when they remembered their arrival, they were Nawal people. Far away arrived their vision in the sky and the earth. There was nothing equal to what they had seen all below the sky. They were great knowers. They were leaders of all 7 nations of Tekpon. Like this was their arrival across the lake, across the sea, from Talan Siwan. So that's just a little bit of the across the sea information for you. But we're gonna drop down a little bit right here because this is what we want. It says the Cachiquel narrative is quite gloomy. Remember the Cachiquels, the people with the red sticks, that say it's quite gloomy, describing the forefathers' departure from Tulan, accompanied by negative omen and the parasanging of death and dismay. This account of crossing the sea bears some similarity to the description of Titulo di Totanicapon, in that the Cachiquel progenitors, Gagawitz and Saktekal, part the sea by the help of the red staffs they brought with them from Tulan, which they derived their names. See memorial. Gotta go up a little bit. See the name de Sol. It said the memorial de Solala specifies that the people traveling from Tulan came from 4 directions, and that there were 4 Tulans, one in the east, one in the west, one called Shibalba, the other one called which is the abode of Kabbalah. It says Zagawitz and Saktikal said it was 4 locations where the people came from Toulon. One in the east is one, another one in Shababa, and another one there in the west. The one where come from is the west. The one where we come from is the west. Another one is in Kabbalah. The Memorial de Salata differs from the other sources, but mainly the Papal Bull in that relates that the Cachiquel progenitors came from Toulon across the sea from where the sun descends the west. See what I'm saying? See how it kind of differs? East, west, sunrise, sun descend. It said from the west we came from Toulon across the sea, where there is Toulon, where we were born and engendered by our mothers and our fathers. Okay, so you know, a little bit more drop on the. I'm gonna read it because I think it's gonna get into a little bit of some biblical things. Now, it says Historia de los, whatever the name is, fuses the locations Waqab Pit, Waqab Siwan, 7 caves, 7 canyons. You know what I'm saying? And Akin Toulon, Azib Toulon, Southern Toulon, Riders Toulon, and the one single. And that document specifies the place of origin as Nagagi Palo, center midst of the sea. We shall come back to this further below. You see that a little bit of it say in some sources the biblical account of origin is conflated with biblical concepts, which has given rise to assumptions that the entire myth of the origin of creation from the sources has been influenced by Christian ideology. Not that these people, they just, you know, not that these people can be descendants of Israel themselves and they got the documents in the history and they know it. No, it's just that they had to be, you know, influenced by Christian ideology. Even though some of these things was written before, you know, Columbus and them even came. But anyways, it says, in this way, the Historia de Don Juan de Torres includes the biblical concept of Babylon in this description. From there we came, from the east, across the lake, across the sea, when they left. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me take this phone. Alright, we back. My bad. It say, from there they came, from the east, across the lake, across the sea. When they left, there as well, it is named Babylon. They came from Babylon. We all know, man. You got the Babylonian, Assyrian, Persian Empire was like 3 kingdoms in the same empire almost. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. And then when you think about the 7 caves, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know. You know, this is up for speculation, but you know, in reference to 7 caves and Babylon, you know, in Revelations it talk about Babylon sitting on 7 waters, if I'm not mistaken, 7 mountains. So, you know, I don't know if that's a possible correlation. We don't know. But, let me see if there's anything else in here I want to get. Okay, a little more down in this document. Right here, I just want to show you this again, more confirmation on it meaning. It says the original meaning of Toulon in the face of cattail reeds. Place of cattail reeds. So let's go down a little bit. Oh, I might have passed it. Hold on. Alright, so check this out. Up here at the top, the Aztec sources. Hold on. Move that out the way. But it says the Aztec sources describe the place of origin of humanity and mankind generally in the mountain with network of caves named Chicamotzuk, 7 caves. Remember, we were just talking about the 7 caves of Toulon. They basically hold the same story. So I'll jump down a little bit. It says right here, this 2nd paragraph. They say, we may, however, wonder whether the migration tales from the Guatemalan sources might indeed be an instance of mythological borrowing. In the Aztec tradition, the legendary place of departure is Atzlan. The concept of Atzlan resembles that of Tulan, or Tulan Zavu, in the Popol Vuh. We have pointed out that the Popol Vuh makes a clear distinction between the place of human creation, you know what I'm saying, Siwan and Tulan, as the place of departure. The fact that the pattern is identical with the term Tulan clearly being etymologically Nahuatl, it may first sight seem plausible that we are dealing with a borrowed concept, and that Central Mexico is the origin of the migration myth. In the sources from the Aztec tradition, Tolan is a concept as mythological and intricate as in the Guatemalan sources. The paradise-like place of creation with abundance. Abundance. Remember that word because it comes up a little bit. Where power and legitimacy are bestowed, and as a place of allegedly historical episodes. So dig on that, you know what I'm saying? So basically, from once you do the research on these two places, you kind of see that Atzlan and Tolan are the same. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Tolan means amongst the reeds. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, let me take y'all back. Okay, right here it says Atzlan is the legendary ancestral home of the Aztec peoples, Azteca, Nahuatl word for people from Atzlan. Okay, so hopefully you guys have a little bit of background information on that. Oh, here we go. Chickamosa, the place of the 7 caves. Let's go to etymology real quick. Okay, so the meaning of the name Atzlan is uncertain. One suggests meaning is the place of herons, or the place of egrets. So remember this now: the place of herons and the place of egrets. The explanation given in whatever. But this is not possible under Nahuatl morphology. Place of egrets would be Atzlan, and other proposed derivations include place of whiteness. Now we got 3 different definitions for the place Atzlan or Tulan. You know what I'm saying? Their origin. We got 3 different places of what it means. It means the place of egrets, or the place of herons, place of egrets, place of herons, place of reeds, and place of whiteness. Now remember them 3. Write them 3, especially because in this first part we're gonna tackle herons and egrets, but in the second part the place of whiteness is gonna come in. Y'all gonna need to definitely catch that. So just remember that. So now check this out. This is some site on some Book of Mormon stuff. I ain't really too much on that, but it do got a couple of things I want to display. So you see right here is Tulan, and it says Tulan means bountiful. Remember that, bountiful and abundant. But what I really want, I'm gonna take it down here to the voice. Let me just get a little bit of this. It must have been difficult for them to leave Tulan. This choice area is described as abundant and bountiful. See what I mean? Abundant and bountiful, and launch out into the unknown. The ancient historians among the Maya Quiche wrote that the people wept in their chins because of their departure from Tulan. Their hearts mourned when they left. The Mayas say that the ancients also called the west landing site in the New World Tulan. The Maya Cachiquel historians of Guatemala wrote, from the west we came to Tulan from across the sea, and it was at Tulan where we arrived. So check this out. In 1950, Milton R. Hunter and Thomas Stewart Ferguson pointed out that some ancient Minorians said that their ancestors came from Toulon, Bountiful, near Babylonia, and that they landed in the Americas at Toulon. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna see about that. But check that out though. Near Babylonia, and they landed in Americas at Toulon, and the Lord supplied the Gurgon direct led the colony across the sea because they were sons of Abraham and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? So looking at these Mayans and these Aztecs, you know what I'm saying, it's really the northern kingdom, and where they were dispersed after Assyrian captivity is what we trying to dig into. So now that we basically kind of got that understanding, we're gonna kind of dig into a little bit more sources on some translations of the names. Okay, so this right here is the website for the new theme park that they about to build, called Atzlan, Return to Atzlan. And this right here is Atzlan Development, where what is the story behind the Atzlan theme park. So they just give you a little research on Atzlan, the theme, you know what I'm saying, the people, you know, and all that stuff like that. So I want to get right here to this little slideshow they got, and I'm gonna jump right here. It says Atzlan means home of the snowy egrets, or the place of whiteness. The snowy egrets and white, remember that, you got them egrets, them herons, them reeds, and whiteness. The place of whiteness, the snowy egrets or the white herons are a frequent symbol of the Aztecs. Now we go down a little bit more. Gonna give you some information on the Aztecs, but check this out. The documentary In Search of Atzlan confirms this information and more through a series of interviews. One of the interviews is of Dr. Carlos Velez Abanes, who states, the Codex Boturini basically lays out the trek from the place of heron and reeds, which is really what Atzlan basically means. Place of herons and reeds. Okay, so some more confirmation on the definitions. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna tackle the two definitions, the reeds and the egrets and the herons. So this is an egret right here. This egret look like. You know what I'm saying? So it also hit me because, okay, you got the red stick in Louisiana. And when I was looking at Louisiana, I came across this right Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? It's like an egret, but they say it's a pelican. You know, Louisiana got stupid egrets and herons, and you know, even look at this. But you know, that's just a little. Let me go back. But yeah, so just so you know what the egrets look like. Now I'm gonna take you to the Wikipedia page of reeds. What a reed is. A reed is a common name for several tall grass-like plants of wetland. So reeds basically is the grass of wetland. So when you're looking for a place of reeds, what you're looking for? A place of wetlands, right? And coexistently, the egrets live in the wetlands. You see what I'm saying? They're in the areas where the reeds are at. And you'll see that too as well as we continue to go along. Okay, so this is another article I came across. It says more evidence of a Maya presence in Georgia. Now, listen, there is a interview about an hour long about archaeologists. The interview is called like Mayans in Georgia, but you gotta check that out, man, because it's some good information. The dude tell you how like through his work he's seen people implant archaeological findings and artifacts in places that they did not come from. He watched it just to disprove the Mayan presence for some of these sites. So you know, but check out that this is just a little article right here. But check this out. Okay, so he say I'm gonna start about right here. It said, I had previously studied Creek Indian migration. Remember the Creek, the Upper Creek, they call Red Sticks as well. Migrations legends to try and determine where they had originated. Most of their legends suggest an origin in the West, and my research traced them back to possibly West Mexico. Yet one Creek Indian tribe had a completely different migration legend. The Hitchiti Creek migration legend placed them in the Lake Okeechobee area after having arrived on the Florida coast from a place of reeds. Now, in that interview I was just telling you about, Mayans in Georgia, the dude, you know, he claims to be Creek. I mean, he's probably Caucasian. You know, the Caucasians really tend to gravitate to any little piece of culture that they have and you know, claim it. But I mean, you know, we all trying to find ourselves. So, but he states, you know, that Creek, the Itzite Creek, have an abundant amount of correlations with the Itza Maya. You know what I'm saying? So dig on that. He said, in the Mayan language, place of reeds is a metaphor for a large city. Thus, we have a legend that places a southeastern tribe at the scene of the crime, arriving by boat from a place of reeds. A known Mayan euphemism for a city. Again, the evidence suggests a Mayan origin. If the Hitchiti were in fact related to the Mayan, there should be some linguistic evidence. I found one such connection on my first try. I knew one Mayan phrase off the top of my head, Chichen Itza. It's a great Mayan city in the Yucatan. I know that Chichen meant mouth of the well. In Mayan, with Chi meaning mouth and Chin meaning well. I consulted a Hitchiti English dictionary and to my amazement discovered that Chi also meant mouth and in Hitchiti and Chani meant well. Thus Chichani meant mouth of the well in Hitchiti. Look at that. I would later go on to find many more similarities. So that's just that. So again, we got this place of reeds. You know what I'm saying? We got this place of reeds right here with these people stating their origins and where they come from. Quick, because I forgot to do this, I want to give y'all just a little glimpse. This is what they say Atzlan is right here, right? This little southwestern area, but because right here now, what people got to remember too, the Mississippi River is actually in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? So when you get Mississippian, don't just think, you know, Mississippi. Of course, you know, you got the whole, you know, southeastern, Midwest area being the Mississippian mound cultures, you know, places of dwelling. But at the same time, remember, we got the stick right here in Louisiana. You know, we're looking for reeds, we're looking for wetlands, place of whiteness, such and such. Let me see, what's something else I wanted to grab for y'all. Oh, right here, I got this little site up for you. Let me see. Louisiana top 10 wetlands. Hold on, man, below. Okay, so you got the Louisiana top lands. You see these wetlands right here coming up from the Mississippi River. Now I'm gonna tell you, it's kind of funny because remember how the Mayans, they talking about crossing this sea, and it kind of sounds like, you know, them leaving captivity, and it sounds like the Moses story. But you know, I also heard some people refer to the Red Sea. It was actually called the Reed Sea. You know what I'm saying? So, and right, you know, just a little perspective, something to look at. You got Louisiana right here with its wetlands, its reed lands, right next to Gulf of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Reeds all around it. So, a little perspective. You got Israelites crossing the Gulf of Mexico. So, you know, the Atchafalaya basin, that's one of the richest, you know what I'm saying, basins in the country. So, all right. So now we back to that 432 drill, because I want to show the company right here, Arthur Scott. I don't know if I showed it, but if I didn't, oh. The Choctaw migration story says the same thing about the two brothers. One had a brother drop this comment, you know what I'm saying, that gave me an interesting perspective too to go check out the Choctaw, because like I said, the Creeks was actually called, the Upper Creeks who rebelled against the Europeans were called Red Stick. But when I was digging in the creek, I couldn't really find too many things. I ended up finding some afterwards, but you know, like I said, that's probably gonna be for another video. But I want to check out these Choctaw real quick, man, because these Choctaw Indians are gonna take. Okay. So alright, so Choctaw mythology is related to Choctaws, a Native American tribe originally from southeastern United States, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. Let's see. Choctaw creation. So, okay, we got the Choctaw, the first version. The Choctaw who remained in Mississippi tell this story as an explanation of how they came to the land where they live now, and of Nani Wahia Mound came to be. Two brothers, Chata and Chickasaw, led the original people from a land in the far west that had ceased to prosper. The people traveled for a long time, guided by a magic pole. Each night when the people stopped to camp, the pole was placed in the ground, and in the morning the people would travel in the direction in which the pole leaned. After traveling for an extremely long time, they finally came to a place where the pole remained upright. In this place they laid to rest the bones of their ancestors, which they carried in buffalo sacks from the original land in the west. The mound grew out of that great burial. After the burial, the brothers discovered that the land could not support all the people. Chickasaw took half the people in the part of the north and eventually became the Chickasaw tribe. Choctaw and the others remained near the mound and are known as the Choctaw. So that's just a Wikipedia version of the Choctaw creation story. We're going to get some more than that, but as we can see, we got these people talking about the same magic poles, the same red cedar sticks. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see if we can get some more on that. Remember, we're talking about the Choctaw tribe, not the Choctaw, Louisiana. Keep that in mind. Alright, diving a little bit more on the Choctaw and Chickasaw origin, migrational story. As you can see here, the Chickasaw migration story, journey from the place of the setting sun. Let's see if we can scroll down a little bit. Goodness. Alright, so scroll down a little bit. It says right here, the Chickasaw migration story tells us that before the Choctaw and Chickasaw were two different tribes, they were one entity led by two brothers, Choctaw and Chickasaw. Now remember, in the Annals of the Kachi Quills, it was the two chiefs that was leading the Mayans. You had Gagawitz and Zatua. So I'm just going to keep going. After experiencing many years of war with the powerful enemy, two brothers decided it was time to travel to different lands and have peace once again. The tribe was then split in two groups, each led by one of the brothers. Choctaw and Chickasaw led their people from the direction of the setting of the sun, The brothers brought along a divine long pole, the Kota Falea, and each night they would place the pole in the ground. Upon walking in the morning, Choctaw and Chickasaw would look at which way it was leaning, and in that and that would be the direction they traveled on the day. If the pole in the ground was standing straight up and not leaning, then that was the place where they were supposed to settle and found their new homeland. For weeks, months, and years they journeyed, and yet the pole was found leaning east every morning, indicating their journey was not complete. One morning they awoke. You know, this is almost like a showing of signs. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind too. One morning they awoke and the pole was swinging back and forth, which never happened before. When the swinging stopped, the two brothers could not agree on its position. Choctaw believed it was standing straight, and that they had found their new home. Chickasaw did not agree that the pole was standing straight and felt as though the journey should continue. Let me see. The brothers eventually came to the conclusion that Choctaw and his followers would remain in the area while Chickasaw and his followers would continue the direction where he believed the pole was leaning. Chickasaw continued until it stood again, and from then the followers of Choctaw were known as Choctaw, and the followers of Chickasaw were known as Chickasaw. After leading the Chickasaws farther eastward, to present-day Alabama and Georgia, the Tobepriestly reversed its direction and guided the people westward to a place in the vicinity of present-day towns of Pontotoc, Tupelo, Mississippi, less than 100 miles north of where the Choctaws settled. The sacred long pole stood as an arrow. The Chickasaw people had knew with certainty that they had found their new homeland and that their journey was at an end. These new ancient Chickasaw homelands would eventually be scattered across the forests, mountains. Check it out. Scattered across the forests, mountains, and prairies of the lands that later became known part of western Kentucky and Tennessee, northern Mississippi, Alabama. Major waterways such as Mississippi, Tombigbee, and Tennessee rivers offer not only a source of food and water, but provided opportunities for trade and transportation in the region as well. So, you know, and this is another article, you know, I'm just kind of validate the story. You see Chickasaw, Choctaw and Chickasaw origins. Say the Chickasaw began as one tribe. They had the Tobepriestly, the long pole. You know what I'm saying? So now understand this. So the Chickasaw and the Choctaw, right? The Choctaw stayed where the poles was standing straight. The Chickasaw left. Now the Choctaws were known for the majority of them populating the areas of Louisiana, right? Now we got the stick standing up in Louisiana, and Baton Rouge literally means red stick because they seen the stick standing up. So Louisiana, that part right there of the Mississippi River, is where they came and found their new homeland after they left from where they was coming from. Now the Mayans could have crossed right there at Louisiana, because I'm gonna show you something. Check this out. Okay, so check out this right here. This is the Gulf of Mexico, right? Now, as we say, so the Choctaw coming from this ancestral place, right? Wherever they was at, and the Maya, you know, in Chickasaw, they coming from this place. Okay, they get to the Mississippi River. Bam, we got a pole in Louisiana, right? They stay. Another tribe said they didn't agree with the place, and they kept going. Now the Mayas say that they came to the shore of the sea and they crossed into their hills and valleys, their lands. Now their lands is the Guatemala, Yucatan region, Belize, you know what I'm saying, all that right there. So could it be that once the tribes got in this Louisiana, Mississippi River area, that they crossed here, bam, where they could see their mountains, their hills and their valleys? You see what I'm saying? Right in this Guatemala region. You know, so that's why I was kind of looking at it, and it was taking me there. So I'm looking at it like, dang. So I'm like, okay. So as I'm looking in Mississippi, the Louisiana, Mississippi River, you know, that area, I'm looking for these red cedar poles. I'm looking for these red sticks. You know what I'm saying? And I end up finding them on, like, in a place called Poverty Point, Louisiana, where the mounds are. So I'm looking at these mounds, and then I started seeing red cedar sticks in like all the mounds. Like, you know, a lot of, I'm not going to say all the mounds, but mostly your mound civilizations, man, they were dealing with these red cedar sticks. You know what I'm saying? And that's what brought me to Cahokia. I got a little video, I got some video clips for y'all, so stay tuned. Okay, so like I was saying, that's when that brought me to Cahokia. And I was doing some research, and I came across this guy's page, CFAPPS, something like that. Oh man, the dude, he goes in, he does extensive research on ancient sites, and even comparing them to certain ancient documents, biblical narratives, and certain things like that. So it's definitely something to check out. I'll show you what his name is once I zoom out. But you know, as slow as my computer is, let's hope this thing will show us what we need to see.
It's usually, we concentrate on Egypt or Peru or pyramids in Mexico or Mesoamerica, and often what is overlooked, and I am guilty of that also, is right here in the middle of the United States.
Y'all gotta forgive me.
And I know a lot of you have heard of this. This is called Cahokia Mound Status.
Hold on real quick. Okay, the quality was on HD, so I turned it down to about like 480p. Let's see if that helps us out.
Thrived about 1,400 to 1,000 years ago. And there are numerous mounds scattered throughout the site here. And what this site is most famous for is, I'm going to zoom in here a little, give you kind of a bird's eye view of this, but what this site is most famous for is Monk's Mound. And here it is right here. And this is not a mound. What this is an actually ancient earthwork pyramid.
Let me try something. Alright, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, that's the dude's page right there. But I'm gonna try to play it not in full screen, because it tends to go a little bit slower when I do that. So.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, just slightly larger. It's bigger than the Pyramid of Mexico at Teotihuacan. But the true history of this place has been overlooked, ignored, and actually suppressed. I will go into a little bit of that, but I just want to give you some history, the standard model history of Cahokia, and I want to give you some of my own thoughts on it. And I'm going to jump around from website to website. In the links below, this is an artist rendition of what Cahokia looked like when it was thriving about 1,000 years ago.
The red cedar poles in the middle.
Monk's Mound here in the back, and that's what he thinks it looks like.
Red cedar poles.
But I'm just going to read a little bit of,
you know what I'm saying,
accepted history of Cahokia. It says Cahokia Mounds.
Alright, I'm going back again. That's his YouTube page right there if y'all want to check him out. Does great research. So we finna get into this place right here called Woodhenge. This is a circle of red cedar poles. So hopefully it's a play for us.
And this is a very important feature of Cahokia, I believe. And what was discovered here are ancient post holes and formed a perfect circle. I don't know if you can see that very well. I will show you a better picture of it here. But this is what Woodhenge looks like when it was reconstructed. And it was definitely a celestial observatory of some sort. And going back to Google Earth, this is the view of Monk's Mound in the distance, and this pole right here, I believe, was a marker, and it was a very important marker because if you were at Cahokia today, and you were down at this center pole, looking out towards Monk's Mound, you would see the sunrise on the spring equinox directly rising over Monk's Mound. And that just relates it to some very important ancient sites that recognize the spring equinox in their building structures. But here, this is what it looks like today. The sun on the spring equinox, the day signifying resurrection, rising directly over Monk's Mound, and that is viewed from called Woodhenge at Cahokia. That is very important.
Very important.
So people that have done some really good research on Cahokia definitely classify these people that built these original structures sun worshippers. And people such as Wayne Herschel have done some studies on Woodhenge, and he also says that they were tracking Orion across the sky, and that fits with a lot of other ancient sites also, and I will leave that link below. And this is another artist rendition of Cahokia. And what do we know about Cahokia? Well, first news and research of this ancient site that got back to Washington, D.C. was kind of suppressed. The Indian Removal Act had just been put into place, and Washington, D.C. and the U.S. government was much more interested in suppressing the great history of Native American people instead of glorifying it. So it was kind of swept under the rug. We know the city pretty much. The accepted dates of it really thriving are between 700 and 1200 AD, or current era, and that coincides with the drought that severely affected the Mayan and Aztec cultures in Mexico around 700 current era, and it's not unreasonable to think some of them migrated north and contributed to the building and the population of Cahokia. There are other things that connected to Mexico and the Mayans and the Aztecs. Monk's Mound is said to be a four-tiered earthen pyramid, and I just can't help think the pyramid of the moon at Teotihuacan is a four-tiered pyramid. There was human sacrifices done at Cahokia, and the same thing was done in Mexico about 600 years ago, and that's well chronicled by Graham Hancock and his War Gods. What led to the demise of Cahokia? Well, there's evidence of a great flood here, and I don't think this is a biblical flood. I think this is just a common occurrence in the Mississippi River Valley. There are great floods that happen all the time. I believe the most recent ones were 1965 and 1993, but it seems it kind of wiped out a lot of the history of Cahokia. And there's also evidence of huge ancient fires, and it's not really clear if this is done through warfare or just rebuilding projects. But also, the layout of Cahokia has been compared to Tikal, the Mayan ruins at Tikal, and I will try to leave as many links below as I can. And I just want to show you some of the artifacts found in Cahokia, and they certainly look Aztec or Mayan, or could be related to them. We also have turtle shells found throughout the site and on Monk's Mound, and this is a symbol carved into this rock, circular rock, and the trident, and this is supposed to be a turtle. The trident on the left symbolizes death. The sun symbol on the right symbolizes life and rebirth, and some people have equated Monk's Mound. They think this is a giant turtle effigy, and that has to do with creation in the Mayan myth and also many Native American tribes. And you can see how they might think this is a turtle, with the turtle's head being here. That makes
very
sense.
Important.
But what we have here is an ancient site that it seems many cultures built around the ruins. A great metropolis was built around this giant pyramid. We have a circular observatory that tracks the sun, marks the day of the spring equinox, the day of resurrection.
Okay, 2 to 3 things from this video. One, look at this place. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful place. But you got to, your red cedar sticks, man, everywhere. They help build, these structures with this cedar. Also, the wood hinge part. right here, you see this video right here, Cahokia, City of the Sun. You can click on this video and like it'll be telling you about the abundant and bountiful lands of Cahokia. But they'll also tell you like when he first started coming on, the Indian chief, who was chief supreme, of who lived at the top of these, mounds, he comes off basically like starting the Ten Commandments, like saying them to the people as ways to live by. Remember when the children of Israel, when they left Assyrian captivity, they aspired, to do the things of their forefathers which they had not done in their land, So that's just one little interesting perspective. But I got another video clip for y'all. Okay, so we got this video called The Mound Builders, man. This video got some good information. And y'all, again, man, forgive me for my computer, man. It's acting real slow. But, through the grace and mercy of the Most High, we still gonna get it in. Bear with me, y'all.
It seems that this was a place for rituals to ensure the prosperity of Cahokia through the season. Today's Choctaw Indians.
Choctaw Indians. Now remember that. Hold on, man. This is going too slow.
Still acknowledge the beliefs of their ancestors by performing.
Hold on, y'all. Alright, y'all. Bear with me. We're gonna try again. We gotta get this in. So just bear with you. So pause the video. Go check the video out for yourself, man. Go do that.
This was a place for rituals to ensure the prosperity of Cahokia through the seasons. Today, Choctaw Indians still acknowledge the beliefs of their ancestors. By performing this ancient spiral snake dance at sunrise. The rising sun along.
Now remember, they at Cahokia. You see the red cedar posters, the red hinges. Remember the Choctaw.
Landmarks on the site.
Choctaw Indian migration. Red pole.
On the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sun rises in line with Mound.
Hey, you hear them calling?
Bob Hall, himself part Native American, is an anthropologist.
I told you, man, these folks want to be Native American so bad.
Who was one of the first excavators of the wood henge. I feel that these posts are more than just an observatory. The center pole is especially fascinating me because there was an association with mourning that was in connection with the mortuary ceremonies. There were rituals in which the earth was combined with the resurrection of the dead person. The earth was combined with the resurrection of the dead person. Yet Native American tribes still trace their heritage to Cahokia. Joe Watkins is from the heritage.
Alright, listen, y'all. Listen to what this man is finna say.
Which has its geographical roots in the Mississippi Valley.
Mississippi Valley. Listen to what this supposedly Choctaw person is about to say.
Choctaw, quite a few southeastern Indians believe that Cahokia could have been the Grand Homeland.
You heard that? Listen.
The place from where we all came before we were differentiated. Tribes.
You hear that? Like, I know my computer tripping, but y'all gotta go get that.
The way the Palestinians view the Holy Land, that it's where we. The way the Palestinians view the Holy Land, that it's where we started, where our Genesis began.
Okay, so you heard what he just said, you know what I'm saying? Now that's a Choctaw, someone who's been around the Choctaw natives is supposedly of the tribe, and he said that Cahokia is believed by the Choctaw elders, you know what I'm saying, to be the ancestral homeland where they all came from. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, it's, as you've seen in the beginning of the video, you know what I'm saying, you had the Choctaw circling, dancing around the wood hinge stage that's at Cahokia. Remember, this tribe is now in present-day Louisiana, you know, but they got those origins up there in Cahokia, you know what I'm saying, or in the Mound, Mississippi Valley culture regions. So, bear with me. Okay, you back. This is another part of the video I want to try to get in here, see if we can get in some other parts, but the way the video acting, might not be able to get those. Like I say, man, come back and check out this video, Descendants of the Mound Builders.
For hundreds of years, scientists refused to believe that these great earthworks could have been built. They attributed the mound to Viking explorers, to the lost tribes of Israel.
To the who?
To the lost tribes of Israel.
To the what?
Even to the notion that our country had once been populated by a race of supermen.
Alright, now you're lying. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, just wanted to show y'all that, get that in there, man. It's some couple of things, man. They gonna show you like some black Indians, you know what I'm saying, a photo like around, I don't know, you watch the video, man, you will see it's a picture that they gonna show you of these Indians dancing around the poles, but the Indians got like afros, woolly hair, look like they got beards, you know what I'm saying, singing Negro spiritual, you feel what I'm saying? So I don't know, man, y'all check that out. But I got one more little clip for y'all. We're gonna see if we can get in. Okay, yeah, so this is another video clip right here I got by this humble brother Zeke Weatherford, bringing out information, you know, white dude who's bringing out the truth about the children of Israel, you know, so we need that in these days. But it's called The Aztecs and the Mayans Spoke Hebrew. Now, it's one thing I want to get out here, and it's right here. I'm gonna see if it's gonna play. See how it does.
In the Hebrew language.
Here is the
Toltec word.
You see Atzlan down there. I'll tell you what it's by. The computer's acting slow, y'all, but bear with me. It ain't really. I can really pause it and show you this.
Mississippi.
Now this one hit song from.
Now this one hit song because that's where I'm from.
So we're talking about Mississippi. It's finna give you Hebrew and Mayan or Aztec correlation, linguistic correlation.
Hebrew word.
Look at it. If you can see it, Masa, Shaba. Masa Shaba. Or Masa Shabi. Let me see if we can get the brother this.
Masa Shabi, which means
Masa Shabi.
Anyway, you can see it, man. Satan working right now. You know, he's the prince of L. You know what I'm saying? The L ways. They tripping. They hey, for real. But okay, bam. Check us out. Masa Shaba. That's where the Mississippi word comes from. Or the Aztec or Mayan word for the Mississippi comes from Masa Shabi. Now, you know, in the Bible, you know, around the Exodus time, you know, the Levites and Masa, you know, how they showed and proved when the children of Israel started doubting the Most High at Masa. But I'm not really correlating them. I'm just giving you some, you know what I'm saying? But look what it means, though, in the Hebrew, the Masa Shabi. Journey. Masa means journey. Shabi. Track. Passageway. Flowing along. You see what I'm saying? So check that out. Masa Shabi, journey, track, passageway, flowing along, Mississippi, Atzlan. You know what I'm saying? Atzlan. Now, going back to the video about the descent of the mound builders. In that video, the elder is telling you the Choctaw Chickasaw story again, how they stuck the red pole in there and how they went all the way until the Mississippi. I wanted to get that in there, man, but my computer is acting real slow. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to check that out. Please check that out for me. That video, you'll see how they came from there and went and landed, you know what I'm saying? They took the red pole to the Mississippi River. Now, the Mississippi River is in Louisiana. Now, we got the red stick placed in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, still digging. We keep going. Alright, you guys. This right here is a site. Forgive me for that. I don't know, man. My computer is acting too slow. So we're not really going to touch on this site right here. But this site, as you can see up here, hold on, let me get you from out there. Okay, so here, this article right here is basically on, you see, myths and legends reveal ancient turtle worship linked to the creation of the world. So, you have this, you know, this belief or this mythological story by the Native Americans that civilization started on the back of a turtle, and that turtle is called North America. You know, their place of origin. As you can see, the Native Americans have this story, and the Mayans have this story. So you can dig on that. I would display it, but you can see how my computer acting. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why it's moving this slow. But yeah, y'all can dig on that. If you like. So that's just a little correlation basically to the Mayan creation stories or place of origin, as well as some of the Native American or place of origin. Now remember, when I showed you Cahokia, Monk's Mound, what did the dude say? He said a lot of people believe that it's a turtle effigy. The mound is built in the shape of a turtle. You know what I'm saying? That was the great orchestration from what the law, you know what I'm saying, and the ceremonial rituals and, you know, the orders and the commands from the king and the priest came. You know what I'm saying? It's from Monk's Mound. This mound that looks like a turtle to be in the shape of a turtle. So y'all check that out. So that's just more correlations to the Mayan place of origins, as well as Indian, Native American, Indian, Aztec place of origin. Okay, to kind of refresh and bring your memory back a little bit, and kind of to bring this home and wrap it up, we're gonna check out. This is the meaning of Atzlan. Okay, remember we got place of Huron or place of egrets, and place of whiteness. But remember, I told you in this video we're gonna be focusing on two main definitions. That's the place of Hurons, the place of egrets, and also let me see if I can get it for you right here. The place of Huron, for the place of Huron and reeds. Now what are reeds? Reeds are the grasses of what? Wetlands, remember? So we're looking for the place of Huron and egrets in the place of reeds. Now the herons and the egrets are gonna be at the wetland. You see what I'm saying? They live in the wetland. So just want to get you this little article right here on Google Books. This book called Mississippi Crossing Relocated I-70 and I-64 connect to St. Louis. So now check this out. We'll be reading right up in here. Wetland I. Wetland I is a wet meadowland located southeast of Eagle Park Road and west of Schoberger, also known as Lounge of Cahokia Canal between the railroad tracks. This wetland is characterized as low grounds between the embankments of Cahokia Canal and the railroad tracks. The proximity of important heron and egret rookeries, check it out. The proximity of important heron and egret rookeries at Allerton and the Eagle Park Marsh breeding area makes it likely that the endangered and threatened birds will forage in wetlands within the proposed wetland. I is located approximate to but on the opposite west side of the railroad tracks from wetlands in which several Illinois endangered species, snowy egrets, little blue herons, black crown, and an Illinois threatened species called will exert. Check this out. So in this place you got all three. We got the reed lands, aka the wetlands, and we got lands housing the heron and the egrets and the Rockies, a place with a place of origin of Native American culture. It has the red cedar sticks, the red cedar posts, it has the wetlands, it has the herons and the egrets. Remember, let me see if I can go back to it. Remember what that say? Atzlan means home of the snowy egrets of whiteness. You know what I'm saying? So, as we seen, you check that out, man. Y'all dig on that? Cahokia wetlands. That's what I started searching, and this is some of the stuff I came upon. You know what I'm saying? Cahokia Canal for wetlands, which the Illinois endangered snowy egret, little blue heron. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all up in here. And not only that, Cahokia, let me see if this site right here is gonna pull up. It's probably because I had all these tabs up for so long, for the last couple of days, man. I should probably like X them out, shut my computer off, let it rest a little bit. But you know what I'm saying, I was really on the move. So right here is an article about Cahokia. This was published July 6, 2016. It says Cahokia Mounds wins recognition for wetland exhibit. So Cahokia has just received this award and this recognition for a museum that they just built, and the museum is called Wetlands and Waterways, the key to Cahokia, and it opens in August, which has already passed. So Wetlands and Waterways, Reedlands and Waterways, the key to Cahokia, open in August. So check that out. It's a museum. So then doing some more studying, I found another place that kind of was just, like a little bit more confirmation. Right here in Wisconsin, this mound site is actually called Atzlan. You know what I'm saying? So check on that, dig on that if you can. It's another mound civilization. It's called Atzlan. See, you got the Cahokia's Monk's Mound here, and this is the mound that's in Atzlan right here. You know what I'm saying? So check that out. Let me see if this right here pull up. So remember, place of heron and egrets. But this was possible under the Nahuatl morphology. Place of egrets would be Atzlan. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of just more confirmation on the area. So I did a little bit more digging. I came upon this document right here. This is another book It's called Atzlan. About $60 at Barnes and Noble. But so this is what it says right here. I'm gonna read this right here for you real quick, and I'm gonna get another little piece, and I'm gonna close it out. It says, in central Mexico, the Spanish myth of the golden northern land aroused interest in the legend of the Atzlan, the Edenic place of origin of the Mexica, the Aztecs. Atzlan means either land of the herons or land of whiteness. So we're getting that again. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Okay, so this further down in the document in the book, Atzlan, we have this right here. And it says, let me see. Okay, in 1530, about 400 miles northwest of Mexico City, the conquistador Nuno de Guzman encountered a place called Atzlan, whose name and environment resembled those of the legendary Atzlan. Though the evidence indicates, and still indicates, so let me read that again. Though the evidence indicated and still indicates that Atzlan and Atzlan were one and the same place, it must have seemed too mundane a location for a land that has been idealized to the point of a paradise on earth. So so this explorer here, when he came across the city, he didn't really want to say that this was the biblical Atzlan, you know what I'm saying? Because let me not say biblical, but the Mayan or Aztec Atzlan, because it was too mundane for him, you know what I'm saying? So he went on looking for other places. But as we see, you know, these regions right here, these Cahokia mounds, this Mississippian mound culture seems to be a predecessor to Mayan and other certain Native American culture. Okay, so here, see if I can pull up this picture. Okay, see the Mississippi River. See this region right here, this whole region, stretching all the way up into Canada, even more so up in, you know, Canada up in here too. But this region right here is the Mississippian mound culture, and where the mounds are at. Right here, then you have Baton Rouge around this area. You know what I'm saying? The red stick where the Choctaw came after coming from Cahokia, which is right here, which was like the capital city really of all of these other ones. You know what I'm saying? You got the Etowah Mounds in Georgia as well. Check those out. Fort Ancient up here, but the Cahokia Mounds was like the capital. You know what I'm saying? But as you can see, other pictures right here of the Earth Mound Pyramid. So you got those people migrating out of Cahokia and these mound civilizations coming around this area and further south, placing their stick here, living there. Other tribes going west, east, or whatever. Mayans eventually, you know what I'm saying, crossing the Gulf. These people who became to be Maya eventually crossed the Gulf and then settled into this land, into the Yucatan. Aztecs probably came around, settled, you know, right here in Tenochtitlan and Tenochtitlan and Tehuantepec, around that area. You know what I'm saying? Remember, man, these are we talk about the northern kingdom of Israel, composed of 10 tribes. You know what I'm saying? So we're not just talking about, you know, they want to separate the Mayans and Aztecs almost like as if they're two different groups, which they kind of are. But remember, you know, you got 12 different tribes that come from one person, Jacob. You know, they all got their own different type of feng shui and culture. You know what I'm saying? So just take that in perspective as well. But you got these Northern Kingdom Israelites that came from these regions right here into their promised hills and valleys, Guatemala. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as we look, you got the place of the reeds, place of egress, place of heron, place of reeds again. place of reeds, you know what I'm saying? You got the wetlands, you got your herons, your rockies, your snowy egrets, you know what I'm saying? Your blue herons, your black crown night herons, all in this area of these Cahokia mounds. And as well as Shadowland over there in Wisconsin. So man, yeah man, to conclude, you know, could the mound, Mississippian mound culture, that area, could that be the possible Atzlan of the Aztec and Mayan? And how this correlates to the second part in the title. And we're gonna get to that in the second video. So with that, man, I think I'm gonna leave y'all, you know what I'm saying, with that right there, so y'all can dig on that. And I give all praise and thanks, man, to the Most High for this information, for y'all bearing with me, even though it didn't go like I wanted to, you know what I'm saying. I wanted to get them video clips in there, you know, but maybe the Most High just want y'all to dig on it, you know what I'm saying. So maybe y'all gotta go check them out for yourself, you know what I'm saying. Go get the information, man. Watch those videos for me, please, you know what I'm saying, and pay attention to what they're saying in them videos, you know. So with that, peace and blessings. May the Most High be with y'all. Stay safe up, stay prayed up, you know what I'm saying. Keep those laws, statutes, and commandments. And until the next time, to the next episode.